All right, we are live, and hopefully, all the sound is working right because I mess it up every stream. But if not, someone hopefully can tell me in the chat, and I can fix it. So so yeah, Nick, you excited to see all the stuff inside here? Yeah, Nick has. So I've shown Nick some pictures, but he hasn't really seen everything hands on because we're still, socially distancing from COVID. We live close to each other, but we haven't had the chance to do this together. Oh, they can't hear you. Oh, hold on. I got you. Talk now.
Is that better?
It should be better. Um, is Nick back? Says,
They said yes, but I'm quiet.
okay, I can crank your volume up. Yeah. Turn that up a little. Turn that one
Dan's
up.
just trying to Dan's just trying to mute me, kind of give me gags.
Well, you're right in my ears, so you're really loud. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
turned
probably
you in.
louder than you, right? Yeah.
But I can turn your volume down in Discord, but your volume up on the streaming software. So
Gotcha.
I think we're good. Um,
You're blocking my face.
oh, and this, yeah. Well, we don't need to see that anyway.
Yeah. I'm
No, I'm kidding.
feel a lot better off not saying that.
Okay. So yeah. So we've been social distancing, and Nick, who lives like 15 minutes from me, hasn't been able to see the game. So this is his first time too, and there's a lot of content. I was even commenting on Board Game Geek today. Someone was like, "Oh, there's you need 720 sleeves for your cards." I was like, "Well, actually, we added 50 more cards, so you need 770 sleeves for your poker
Exactly.
size cards."
So
And
many sleeves.
there's so many sleeves. I mean, people are going to be spending as much on sleeves as they are in the game. So 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 yeah, so we have a lot of game, and so the box, first of all, is huge. So the box, if you've seen Blood Rage, it's the same size right now as Blood Rage, which is 12 by 12 by 3, 12 inches by 12 inches by 3, or 309 millimeters by 309 millimeters. But as of yesterday, I just talked to the printer and we're upgrading the card stock on everything. And so now the cards don't fit in the box, so we're going even bigger. So we're adding 50 millimeters to one side and 10 millimeters to another side. So this
Yeah,
box
I mean,
is,
if anyone's seen the Blood Rage box, they know how huge that is, right?
and
And
this
that wasn't big enough.
and this is about twice as heavy as Blood Rage. So I when I first picked it up, I even groaned, and I was like, because I wasn't expecting it to be so heavy. But this game
It's eight
is,
pounds, right? You said 8 pounds.
I think it's pushing close to 8 pounds. It was supposed to be 6, and now we're pushing close to 8 because we just keep upgrading things, adding more game boards and everything. So yeah, let's. Oh, I got a phone call happening. Um, so yeah, so let's crack it open and see what's inside. I have my wife's lovely hands here. Oh, nope. So this isn't the final item unboxing. Someone asked because this is the pre-production proof, and we're still finalizing everything. But the components are pretty much final, except for the box size and the card quality. So we got this huge rule book. It's 12 by 12, and it's got huge diagrams, huge graphics. Um, I believe how many pages is the rule book? I think 24 pages.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah,
Yeah, 24. Yeah.
and so it's huge, and we went all out. Our graphic designer was awesome on this, Anna Bariza, and our copy editor Sam Hillier. They did an awesome job together, putting it all together, and I think we were. I mean, we were both very happy with how this came out, right, Nick? Like,
Yeah, no, they were amazing. They were a great tag team.
yeah, they did great. So underneath that rule book is the meat of the game, which is the campaign guide. We're not going to skip too far ahead into it because we don't. I mean, I don't even want to tease spoilers for later in the game, but the campaign
You can
guide
show
is.
the first couple fights,
Yeah, we
right?
can show the first couple of fights, but the campaign guide basically starts the story. It gives you a choose your own adventure type prompts right from the bat. The first thing that happens, and you get to pick which way you go for which fight you're going to do. There are some options that are going to be way harder than the others. And then you're going to get into the fight. It tells you how to set it up, the bad guys, their passive and active abilities, how to set it up for 3, 4, 5 players. So yeah, this page that I'm showing right now is the beginning story where each character is at the start and your first option right away.
And you can see that skull, right? That's the little hint, the indicator to let you know that's the harder option.
Yeah, that was we really wanted because we didn't want parties to be surprised and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna pick this one," and then just get slaughtered if they weren't like experienced or ready for it. And so yeah, so then if you want to turn the page real quick, so at the back of the fight, it's gonna show you the resolution. So basically, you're either gonna win with a bonus, or fail. And depending on how you do, you're going to get different party items. You're going to get different items that unlock different paths you can do in um, the campaign. So, if you defeat it one way, you might get options for how you can go to the next fight. But if you don't, then you're just kind of shoehorned into going in one direction. Um, and as you do that, you'll get, like I said, new perks, things that will be unlocked. Nick likes like that video game feel of you're gonna win and get those key items, or
Right, kind of the boss key concept, and Ian Zhang was really instrumental in pushing for that too. He's like, "Yes, do it, go 100% with it."
yeah. And so that came out really good. And then even if you fail, though, everyone still will level up, except for the first fight. It's the only one you repeat if you fail, and that's because the first fight's meant to be the intro. So if you fail that, you really need to practice and play it again. So
Yeah,
this
it's kind
one,
of
if
like a tutorial. You have to repeat it.
yeah, so if you don't win the first fight, which is 1A, then you just go right back to it. You don't level up and you play it again until you're ready to move on. But after that, even if you lose, you level up and you just keep advancing. We didn't want you to spend a lot of time playing it and then lose and just get stuck in the same spot. So we wanted you to just always be moving forward. So yeah, so that's a campaign guide. I will say some of the punch board I did punch out because I've been going through things and testing some things out, but there's a lot of punch board in here. So the top punch board, those are the bone towers, and so there are skeletal archers you'll encounter at one point. People were really adamant about having standees for the characters, even though there were minis. So we included all standees for the players, for their familiars like the skeletons, the imp, the beast. We have some dice tokens that might come into effect with certain passives or dice abilities you'll get. Um, and so
Yeah, I
that's
mean, and the hero standees are nice. So if people want like a uniform look, they don't want to do like Gloomhaven, like mini heroes and standee enemies. They can do all standees.
right. And also, we might have a side
Oh,
quest
you
where
have to
you're.
show them artwork.
Oh, yeah. Well, so that one second, but someone asked, did Jake do the enemy art too? So Jake did some of the enemy art. Most of the main bosses he did, but we also had Calico Mayer, and she did a lot of like the goblins and the skeletal archers and a lot of the side bad guys. Um, but Jake did like the main ones you'd be fighting. So in the second one, we have a lot of some of the bosses. You'll see the fire elemental. Yeah, Nick wanted you to set up the dragon. Urwerk the dragon is a beast. He is a 3 square by 2 square um, standee that breeds a 3 square by 2 square fire bomb in front of him as well. And yeah, and
Shout out to Rev for figuring out the standee, right?
yeah, so Michael Kofer is someone I've been working with for a lot of my games, and he does awesome graphic design things, and he loves building things up. And so he did that with Urwerk. He was like, I have an idea, we can make this thing pop, and so he built it such that he's going to stand and have this massive table presence. So we love him. And then yeah, so there's a Clockwork Golem and Queen Domianne and some other people you'll be fighting along the way. So this one will come to some of these pieces later. There's a lot of stone walls and firewalls that enemies will be producing. The tokens on the right are status tokens. Getting hit, there's stunned, there's weakened, there's slowed. And then on the left side, you're going to have a lot of little minion bad guys. So there's little bloblets, which I love, and clockwork gears, sprites. If you flip it over on the other side, is some villagers you're going to have to rescue, some more octo babies, and some fire sprites because the fire sprites are really cool. I don't even know if I want to
One
tease
of
them.
those fire sprites was slightly different.
Yes, one of the sprites is slightly different, and you may have to try and figure out what you're going for with them. Okay, so in the next one, these are where all the health tokens were. I punched a lot of those out. There's the goblins, wraiths, griffins, which are pretty cool. The Blob King, I love. The Twin Princes, Lady Vanleska. A lot of these are the first half of the campaign. They're the characters that you will encounter before you get to the tower, which is the second half. Ascending the tower that Queen Domianne kind of stays in, that's going to be your whole second half of your campaign, and that's some of the bosses we saw on the last punch board. Um,
Yeah, I'm
we
choosing to ask what's the best way to store, and I think baggies are probably going to be the best way to store them.
Yeah, and so I actually talked to the printer about including extra baggies in there as well. You'll see there's a big tray inside the box when we get to that. So obviously for this game, the most important thing for Nick and I was the class system. That was what this whole game was built on, and we really wanted to highlight that. So this booklet is a class guide going through all of the different characters, kind of what they do. We show a couple of their cards so you have an idea of how they act, so you can kind of plan which path you want to go when you play the game. These are the player boards, which turned out awesome. So they're dual layer. The hit point tracker on the right, you see, has the numbers and the cubes will rest within it. And then we have cutout slots along the top. You can store one weapon, one armor, and one accessory. On the left side, you get 3 passives in a fight. So you're going to be collecting lots of passives. And you can pick 3 per fight. And the ones you don't use, you can save for another fight. And pick and choose depending on the fight and which ones you think you'll need. On the right side, the same applies for dice abilities. You can have 2 of those slotted at a time. And as you level up through each class, you'll get some passives here, you get some dice abilities there, some additional cards for your deck. And so this board lays it all out, and it has all the icons on the bottom for things you'll need that'll be on the cards throughout the game. And there are 5. So,
This,
oh, they're,
this also asks how strong are the little tab bits?
they're pretty strong. It's pretty thick punch board, and the way they're stored in the box and all on top of each other, you have to be pretty rough with them to really damage them.
Yeah,
And
it's dual layer anyway, so it should be
yes,
extra.
and you'll notice that there are 2 quills. The printer apologized for that. They said they were packing. There are going to be 5 different ones in there. There were 2 clerics in this one, but that was just a packing issue when they sent it to me. So underneath that, you can see we have some tuck boxes. These are going to be for save states for the players for later. There's more within the box as well, but as you're going through, you're going to just store all the cards you've been collecting in your tuck boxes. So that's those. And then we have game boards. So we have 7 game boards, and so there's the stone dungeon on the back are the traps for the trap master, which you'll encounter later in the game. Possibly, it's a choice, a path. You may not always encounter them, but we want you to play the campaign multiple times. It can be done relatively quickly in the sense of how campaigns can be. These are water tiles. That's another character you may encounter in the tower. The grass is where you start before you get to the tower. You'll be outside and questing through these grassy areas.
Right, that was one of the stretch goals, outside tiles.
Yeah, we added some extra tiles. We had 4 originally, and we thought it'd be fun to add more, just to add more variety to what you're
And
looking at.
Alicia Volkman did the tile art.
Yes, and she did the villagers and some of the icons on some of the cards.
Yep.
Okay, well, you want to do the stands? The 2 more tuck boxes. So the stands for the 2-inch standees, I love how these stack. They stack within each other, and there's like a cutout circular hole for them. So there are a couple bosses that have 2-inch wide bases. The dragon, one of the warlords, the fire elemental, the blob king, and so we have and the griffins. And so I like how they stack within each other, and they have a nice little slot within the insert.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yep. These were so we actually did not unlock the stretch goal, and Nick and I were like, "This is too good to pass up.
Yeah,
Let's just do it anyway." And I'll tell you, I've been running campaigns with my daughters with them, and they're so nice to use. So there's initiative every round of an encounter. So it's not just every encounter, every round within an encounter, you're reshuffling the initiative and displaying the order that players go in. And so we were using cards originally, and we were thinking about updating or upgrading it to cardstock. But these are plastic poker chips, and they came out awesome. I've got to say, the feel of them, they shuffle so easily. They're going to be super durable, so they'll last millions of shuffles. And so,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was the problem we had with cards. Even with the prototypes, like they were getting beat up.
Oh, after like 10 plays, yeah, because you're shuffling them and just displaying them really roughly. And so I'm really happy with how those came out. Um, and now more things within the center well. We have the custom dice. Um, this another upgrade we added was we originally had two of each dice within the game, so now we have three of each die. Just it's easier to share. People share them anyway, but now you have to do less sharing, which is kind of convenient. And different players a lot of times use different dice they specialize with, so you won't have a ton of overlap with them. So having three of each will spread out pretty easily. You can see some of the punch board I punched out before, but we have a lot of stone walls, a lot of fire walls. Different bosses will be producing these walls, and so those will be dangerous and getting in your way. We have a lot of 1-inch standee bases. So yeah,
So Gribbly Bones asked about the chips, and they're now included in the base set. We were just short of that as a stretch goal in the Kickstarter campaign, but Dan and I
yes.
both really wanted them, and so we're like, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of a non-starter for us where we were just like, well, this is something we felt passionate about, so we went for it. Yes, and then another punch out I already punched out were the status token, not the status, but the health hit point tokens for the bosses. Players have the trackers on their player boards, but for the bosses, there are squares within the campaign guide, and you can put hit points on them to signify how much each boss or their minions have been hit. And so there's ones, threes, fives, and tens. The ones and threes are double-sided with each other, and the fives and tens. What else we got in there? We have the cubes. So those are the hit point trackers for the players. We just did these translucent green cubes. I think we were just using them for playtesting. And we were like, that color's cool, so we just kept using them, right?
Yeah, and green's kind of a health color. Like,
Yeah, I like the way they look, and I like the translucent ones. So sometimes we really think about things for a certain reason, but for those, it could have been any color, really. So we're like, oh, this is cool. All right, and then so there's a lot more tiles. So there's stone walls or stone 1 by 1 squares. There's
great spot.
rubble, wraith spawn tiles. So the wraiths, you'll encounter them pretty early and sometimes throughout, and they're a pain. They respawn after you kill them. So you have spawn tiles where they start, and they'll be chasing after you, and as you kill them, they just respawn and come after you again. So those are a lot of fun. Actually, that was one of my favorite things that you put in one of the encounters. I love the way the wraiths work, and I love the look of them. They're one of my favorite things.
Yeah, that scenario is affectionately referred to as baby football.
Yes.
You guys will get it when you play it.
Yeah, it's Football Baby is one of the funnest encounters, and it's one of the first. It's the second one in the game, and it's awesome. So these are the dice abilities. The smaller cards are passive and dice abilities, and so we have a good amount of those. There's a nice little cutout for those right at the edge of the insert. And again, the insert's now going to be maximized and be bigger in the new larger box as well. So these are pretty standard, and they just have the straight text on them because they're kind of just a quick little ability. Right behind those are the direction cards, I believe. Are they not there? Oh, I must have moved them. Ah, okay. There are direction cards. I must have moved them. Oh, there they are. So in some fights, you're going to be drawing direction cards, which will have random movement for bosses or tiles shifting a certain way or things shifting. And so every game there's a compass that comes out and tells you what direction north is, and if it requires it, you have a direction deck which will guide how the bosses will act and do things at times. And then, so I did a setup that I think is a pretty good setup for the cards and where they be. I'm going to do photographs and post them online that I think are optimal ways to lay it out. I have certain cards together that I think go well together, and the ones that you're going to be accessing a lot, I have in spots where you can pull them out easiest. Some things you're not going to be accessing much, so I put those kind of in the corners, and they're not too often that you're going to need them. But there's level up cards, there's character class cards, and there's 770 of them. And again, it wasn't a stretch goal, but I decided I wanted to upgrade the cards as well. It's a pretty card heavy game, and we want them pretty quality. So this week I'm working with the printer to upgrade the card stock of these as well. And you'll notice one thing we also added that we didn't really post as a stretch goal was art to all of the action cards. So Nick and I were just saying the artist is too good, and there's so many cards in the game that we just wanted more art. So yeah, we went all out for it, right? Nick, how many extra art pieces did we end up getting after the campaign?
It was in the hundreds, like it was over 100.
Yeah, we added a lot of art. And so yes, so Jacob Kraft is the artist.
Yeah, all the action cards, everyone that has room for it has art now.
Yep, every card that's going through your deck pretty much is going to have art. And then we have that mini tray cover on top. and the minis. We have the 10 minis in here, um, and there's a spot for the minis that are come in the Hero Pack expansion. So if you got that as well, there's a big spot on the end that you could put those in as well. Hero Pack 1 expansion we'll go through in a minute after that too.
And it did have the case, the cover too, so you can store the
Yes.
game upright.
Yeah, that was I was really excited to have for there. Yep, and we actually had a the artist do two sides of the box that are vertical and two that are for horizontal. So if you store, regardless of how you store your game box, you're gonna be able to read the title and everything properly. Someone asked about equipment. So the equipment cards have basically an icon for their type. Again, that would have been another almost 50 something art pieces, not including the expansions and things.
More than that, because each, if
Yeah,
you were talking like each unique piece
each
of
unique,
it,
yes. So for the equipment cards, do you want to grab supply loot there? So for those, it's just a generic symbol for if it's a weapon, accessory, or armor. All right, and so that's pretty much everything in the base game. I mean, there are 700 cards, so that's like we didn't go through a lot of that, but there's still a ton of stuff outside of that as well, and so many cards that you're going to be able to build all these random classes. And we always say what's great is you can do fighter one, fighter two, cleric one, paladin, and then fighter three, cleric two, and you can just jump around and do however you want, however you think your character needs to get rounded out. If you want to see inside the hero pack, this came out even better than I expected as well. I love how the hero
yeah,
pack
the
came out.
packaging was nice. I've only ever seen mock-ups, so it's my first time seeing the
Yeah.
actual
Oh
package.
yeah. So the packaging is great, and this is another one. It's a plastic tray with a plastic cover, and so it looks very nice. You have the two minis on the bottom. So Queen Domianne at the very end. That's the last boss you face, and she is super tough, and she's gonna be the culmination of all your nightmares. That's the turret. So there's an engineer in this game, and he controls the turret in the expansion.
And there's room in the base mini area for these.
Yes.
Nice.
And then so there's three new classes, the Time Mage, the Engineer, and the Magic Blade. And so that Magic Blade can enchant weapons and do all sorts of cool things with that. There's a quick rules card with components, a new equipment card, the turret, so it's a new familiar, a new summons, and just the new class features, new action cards. And again, we got all new art for all those action cards, the level up cards you'll need to know how to level up your
Yeah, some of
characters.
those Magic Blade ones are really stellar. Like all the
Oh my
pieces
gosh, the Magic Blade art is unbelievable. That's the one with there's like the Firebrand and the Frostbrand too. I want to find the
yeah,
sword
and then
enchantment
there's the
one.
Time
Yeah,
Mage.
the sword ones are awesome.
Yeah. So
Time Mage has a lot of manipulation of the battlefield and also their deck.
yeah, so there's the Thunderbrand. That one is beautiful, and then that one's I think my favorite, which is the
I like the
Flamebrand.
Firebrand. The Flame
Yeah,
Brand. There we go.
that one's really cool. And then yeah, the Frostbrand, which is pretty sweet too. They're all awesome, and
Yeah,
the facial expressions in those, like he did great facial expressions in all of them, but even those have like a better than average, I would say, facial expression. They're unbelievable, and then just new passive and dice abilities. So yeah, someone asked about the level up cards. Those are large size because some of them there's a lot of like text on them and things you need to read to know what cards to grab. And if it was small, it would have been really condensed. So we went with poker size for those as well. We had a lot of back and forth on what we were going to do with those, but
yeah.
usability was the most important thing, and we wanted to make sure that they were, you know, the most readable and most usable. So
We originally had them mocked up as the mini cards, but right,
yeah,
it ended up being like Ice Strain City, trying to figure out what you got every level for some levels. Yeah.
yeah, it just didn't work out. So yeah, that's pretty much everything in there. What did you think, Nick? Does it all?
Man, I was like, like it probably wasn't much. I'm probably not a lot to look at during the stream because I was like squinting and looking at everything, trying to study everything.
Yeah,
Reach out to them.
and we still need to do a handoff. We've tried a couple times to do a handoff, but we've been busy, and we're trying to find a spot we can meet and pass through the car window to each other so he can see it. But yeah, the game came out very awesome, and I don't want to say we've had a delay, but we've taken some time to approve it all, because like I said, I want to upgrade the cards and make the box bigger so things just are perfect. And so most of the stuff has been greenlighted and done. Like the dice, the mass printing of the dice is done. The minis are done. All the base, the standee bases, they had to custom make the 2-inch ones. They had the 1-inch ones, so they did that special for us, and they mass printed all those already. I believe the poker chips are done, the punch boards are done, and the rule book is done. The campaign guide they're working on now, and they're just waiting on really the cards. That's the only thing they're waiting on from us, and that was because we were trying to decide what to do. Because we knew we're like we want to make them better, but within this box is going to be even bigger. Do we want that? Um, it was really important to keep it the size it was, but it is not going to work. So we're going bigger. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
Nick,
I mean, it looks amazing.
do you have anything else to add, Nick, before we end up signing
No,
off?
I'm pretty hyped. I'm pretty excited.
I am too, and I hope all of you loved seeing everything. And I think that's gonna be it. So we're gonna go. I have someone I've kind of rated a couple of times is on live now, so I figure we'll go raid her channel. She does Animal Crossing things, and she's a lot of fun. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope you love seeing this unboxing. I can't wait to get the game in everyone's hands. We're going to be doing that really soon. They're going to finish the printing. I've already started fulfillment coordination with the fulfillment center, filling out all the paperwork for that, and they're going to be in touch with the printer soon. So as soon as the games are done, they're going to get like loaded as fast as we can, and to people because we're trying to move it along pretty quickly. So yeah, if anyone doesn't have any other questions, we're gonna pop out. And so if you want to hang on and raid Bunzinator, that's cool. If not, no worries as well. But thank you, everyone, and we really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and we can't wait to get you this game. All right.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, good night,
Good night.
Nick. Bye.
Oh, good. So you know people already. The notifications are aware of the hot dog outfit and save you. Oh my goodness, Letterman! Letterman Games is rating with a party of 8. Hype! Thank you so much! Thank you for the raid! Since I don't have notifications. How are you guys? Good to see you. Thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. See, Meeple was making fun of my hot dog outfit in this game, and right after he said that, you guys rated. So you know what? Hot dog suit wins. Hot dog suit wins. It's staying on. Okay? How you guys doing? Nook Miles that up? Yeah, it makes sense. Woohoo! Lemon, what'd you stream today? How was it? Dear Liesel, 1. Oh no! I forgot to... No! No! Liesel, there is nothing in that letter. Who doesn't like hot dogs? Meeple. His name is Meeple. He also plays board games. He doesn't like hot dogs. Everyone get up! I can't believe I just sent Liesel a blank letter with no present. You're always the only one on when we finish, so we'll raid you all the time. Hey, Lemon. I appreciate it. Whenever I get raided, it's really, really special to me, so thank you so much. We streamed an unboxing of a game that we are releasing later this year. Which one? Have I heard of it? Okay, let's try this again, Legal. You should do an island count like you did for Little Nightmares' deaths. Why'd you have to bring that up again? Why'd you have to bring up the death part? You could have just said Little Nightmares, not Little Nightmares' deaths. Cherry breath, okay. Please, this is gonna be quick. They're all gonna be sad, empty letters. Do a prayer for that guaranteed penguin villager. Everyone, say a penguin prayer to the penguin god. God of all penguins. Anyway, Tink, that is a good idea. I might do that if I pass, like, 15. That settles it. We're making a hot dog board game. Sir Groovy. That is the best idea ever. And you could dedicate it to Meeple, okay? Because Meeple is a pretty good name. It could mean a lot of, you know, different things. But that just happens to be his name. Adventure Tactics. I'm not gonna try and pronounce Domianne's Tower. That sounds pretty cool. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. Liesel, okay. It's a campaign game based off of Final Fantasy Tactics Best Game Ever. Interesting. I'm gonna go back and watch that. What? Hot is the designer? That's awesome. That is so cool. Good for you guys. You know what, Liesel? I'm gonna have to send you these later because I literally just sent you another letter for 200 bells that has no present attached. I can't think right now. We're gonna I just sent you a bunch of empty letters for a whole bunch of bells. There's a hot dog card game out there? What? Please tell me, and I will ship it to Meeple. Penguins hate hot dog fashion. It is a known fact. Man, Hot, that's awesome. Is it, did I pronounce it right? Domianne? So, for those of you wondering, I am doing villager hunting right now. If you play Animal Crossing, I have an empty plot, and I want a penguin. There's 3 penguins that I want, excuse me. Okay, I did pronounce it right, good. That is awesome. Hi, how many games have you designed? Where's some other titles? Okay. Penguin, penguin, penguin. This is a pretty island.